You some other time. This can't be good. Ah! Where am I? 1976? You gotta be kidding me! Time for more fun!
You're gonna disco till you die.
Welcome to The Good, the Bad, and the Sequel. This is a movie podcast. We're talking sequels, and we do it in two parts. The first, an interview with an actor or someone involved that made the film worth watching, and the second, a discussion of the sequel, what they got right, what they got wrong, and how it could have been better. I hope you enjoyed last week's interview. It's such an interesting actress because it was cool because we were talking more of our love, our mutual love of horror and how it affected our lives. And then, of course, we talked about our credits. We learned reality shows, cast everything, even like the people walking around in the background and the workers. Pretty cool stories from Junie. But what's wild is I didn't see this movie before I talked to her, and she had a very risque scene. And I got to tell you, I never look up people's ages whenever we on IMDb, because sometimes they're there, sometimes they're not. But I would think she's so young, but based on her story, she's not. So that was very interesting. So if you haven't listened to that one, be sure to check it out after this week's review of I guess this is our first like disco sequel. And that is Gingerdead Man 3, Saturday Night Cleaver. Since we don't have to say Gingerdead Man every time because it's such a mouthful, we could just say GDM every time I talk to it. But before we talk about any of this movie that was kind of like this, it was great in a sense of, because of the movies that we've been covering, there's at least some things that at least put a smile on my face, some lines, some scenes. Yeah, so before I say anything more, I got to introduce you to my fellow candidate for the bicentennial roller boogie dance off, Jamie Riccardi. Jamie, how are you?
I'm good, Doug, but I questioned. You could have said a lot of things, but you said this movie was great, and yeah, yes. I mean, look, I wanted to like this movie, because I had a feeling what I was getting into, just obviously when I saw the trailer, and then like the first scene, I'm like, all right, you know what? Maybe we got like a Naked Gun kind of spoofy movie that, it's going to be funny, Attack of the Killer Tomatoes kind of humor. It just okay. First of all, the movie's I would say the one positive thing I would say is the movie's only an hour and 9 minutes, which is a weird time.
Cool.
An hour and 9 minutes. However, if you take out all the gingerbread scenes, the movie's an hour long. The movie is basically watching the same people disco skate
I know.
throughout the whole movie. And the plot is really based around the girl who's playing Carrie. Like,
I know, dude, no joke, when she made something move at like minute 47, I was like, what?
But the movie revolves around her. Yes, they rushed a bunch of kills at the end, which Carrie does. So like
She kills
way more people than I guess whatever Gingerbread is.
GDM, yeah, I would think
but
it's
it's not really a Gingerbread movie. It's a spoof on Carrie. Like,
yeah,
because like very limited time, and what he looks like they couldn't do a better job for Gingerbread. Like it almost looks like a 5-year-old did like a Play-Doh trying to make a gingerbread and left it, and that's what they used, because it wasn't even like formed right. Like when you see him, like it was, I don't know.
He is a Gingerdead Man. No, his look. The one thing that Junie told me a little behind the scenes, and I don't know what Jeff didn't work on the Gingerdead Man. Jeff Farley, friend of the podcast, former guest. But Junie did tell me that there's baby teeth. Those are real teeth in the Gingerdead Man.
I was gonna say, I hope my earphones are not gonna die. I thought I charged them. So you know what? You're gonna have to cut that out.
Yeah.
But yeah, it definitely looked bizarre when you saw the teeth and even the eyes, winking, like closing and opening, like it looked bizarre. But like, again, when I see Clarice or whatever the name was that
Oh my gosh.
okay, when I saw her walking in, I'm like, okay, they're doing a spoof. But then when the camera turned and you saw the baguette, and then I'm like, oh my gosh, all right, forget it. Like it had potential because it was like a loaded weapon. Like it started off like, all right, this is going to be a spoof, but then you see like the worst puppet I've ever seen. Like it makes
So
these little like desserts or whatever
Wow.
looked worse than Munchie.
Yeah.
Okay.
That is true.
All right.
And then there was like the cream pie
Oh
that
my
like
gosh.
spit, and somehow, if you notice,
Well,
their
was that
room
was
there was no
was that-
holes.
was that spit?
Oh, it could have been cream.
That's, I mean,
But the fact that it went through the wall
I
and
know,
hit her
I
in
know.
the face.
Oh, there's so many questions. I mean, there's like, so Gingerbread has feet that are like shoes. Like there's no toes or anything. Yet he has fingers because he's able to.
When he's holding, when he's holding the gun later, dude.
Which again, looked like it was almost miniaturized to fit in his hand because he was. So, but why? Like why they give him fingers, but his feet are basically shoes. If you draw like a stick figure. And he does something in this movie, which I don't know where it came from, because he's running around with no clothes on, right? So, I mean, you see nothing. Like it looks like a gingerbread, but later it looks like a baguette or whatever. Like it looks like one of those, what are those glazed,
like a
like
glazed collar, like a donut.
no, like one of those donuts, like a donut stick,
Oh,
like
donut
that's,
stick,
yeah, that's what it
Ugh.
looks like. But where'd it come
Yeah.
from? Because he's running around with no clothes on, and he looks like a Ken doll. So okay, yeah, this movie
Okay.
movie is very bizarre. I wanted to like it. It was just like I've never seen a movie that had more filler than movie.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
It was
seriously,
it was what we saw in Grizzly too. Like when they had to add footage to get it to the run mark they wanted to, they didn't want to have like a short movie. So it was like that weird concert footage that was like added in. This one, you're right.
Yeah,
there
but
were so many times we saw the same people.
it was most of the film. If you take out all the disco skating, the movie's probably 20 minutes long, if that.
Yeah.
If that. It's like because every time there was a scene, like a kill scene or something, it goes right back to the disco skating, and it's the same 5 people that are skating. And it's like, and again, the skating place is a very weird place because at points you think it's a high school, like a high school dance,
I
like the way that
know.
it's just a weird like. And what is the plot of the movie? Because they don't explain why Gingerbread is killing these random people, and is it just like he doesn't even try to go back once he decides that he's transported in 1976? He doesn't, when he realizes he can't control the thing, he doesn't try to go back. So what's the plot? Just him killing. Hold on. The plot is the disco is closing down. That's the plot.
That is true. Yeah, it's like Breaking 2, right? Or Breaking One. They want
that's
to show.
exactly what it's like, right? So it has nothing to do with Gingerbread Man or Gingerbread Man.
That is true.
Okay, all right.
So he needed to. Yeah, you're right. They should have added in. Like I know it does make sense for the end with the girl like finding the time machine wand, but they should have had that one of the adults, and maybe like Cherry or the creepy bowling alley employee, or not the bowling alley, but the roller derby. But the fact that there's no reason for him to do that, because there's sometimes he's just enjoying watching people, and he's like, all right, time to kill now.
That's my point. Like that, the first kills that he does, which was our friend of the podcast, Junie, like that scene, he's enjoying watching them. So why would he kill them? And it's almost like most of the scenes he enjoys watching them first, and then he kills them.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't. And okay, so I've never seen any of them. Is he possessed? Or like, do we know like how he started?
I think
Like,
it's the same thing as Chucky and Jack Frost. He got transported somehow. I don't know if there was like some, I guess maybe because it's that silly and over the top, maybe he got transported during a break. But I do love that where he's at in the beginning, the caption, the study for homicidal baked goods.
Oh my gosh. And first of all, I would say ask our audience members who know more about this movie, but my guess is no one's seen any movie in this trilogy. So that's what I would guess.
People love Full Moon, man. People love those movies.
know, but,
and again,
right.
I'm not saying this movie is, no joke, I thought it was going to be a lot worse going into it.
I thought it'd be better. See,
really?
You've never ever told me to drink before I see the movie, see any movie, and we've seen some bad movies. So for you to tell me to drink, and you're right. I mean, alcohol definitely would have helped watching this movie. But I really like, again, the whole first scene, seeing him strapped on, he's got the Hannibal mask on, like, it had potential. Like, if the movie stayed on the spoof path, it had potential. But then again, it just goes off the rails of disco, and like it just changes, like it just, and he's barely in it. Like he's really, yeah. So,
but you're right. They should have done this. They should have done the spoofs more. You're right, because they did one later, which we'll get into like when we get to that part.
Yeah.
But it could have been movies at the time. They could have done like of that era.
Yeah, yeah. And you know what? Again, to pay some kind of homage to those horror movies, but they kind of just focused on one. And again, the movie revolves around her. It doesn't revolve around him because she has the storyline. She has the whole plot. She has the whole storyline. He has nothing but standing in the background of every scene. He's literally just watching. Like, it's just a weird, like, again, I don't know if the other movies are similar to this. I'm sure. It just seems, I guess. So this is a prison for the most, I guess,
homicidal baked goods,
right? So it makes no sense whatsoever. I mean, obviously the scene does not make sense, but let's just say that's a real thing, and these baked goods are crazy. So the best thing to do is to have a time machine right next door to the craziest of all the baked goods. Like, so, just, you know what? Just in case they're going to escape, let's just make it as easy as possible.
I know.
I mean, like, really, it's
wouldn't it be funny if they go into the building and all the other floors are empty? Like, they could have spaced them out so much. That was so silly, because that's what I thought about. I was like, how are they going to go back? And I have no idea. Oh, let's just have this little tiny, it was like so simple to make as a prop. It probably just took a phone, broke the pieces off, taped it onto something else. But man, it was
it's just ridiculous. Like, it's, and again, again, it's one of those movies, like, a Naked Gun would have a similar thing. They would have a time machine next, I get it. It's just so weird. It's just like, it was just like, just to get them to 1976, they had to throw in a time machine right next door to his holding cell, Yeah.
Okay. Do you remember what Clarice offered him in order to cooperate?
To go to Candyland? Was it a Candyland?
Candyland Island. It's the fanciest jail.
So stupid.
And how about the animal activists? Like, can we talk about this? It's funny, it kind of does make, I know, like, PETA does some good stuff, but they're a little crazy too.
But so they're dessert activists?
No, they're animal activists, but
then why are they there?
Don't you remember what one of them says? Oh my God, this is a weird looking dog.
So they're animal activists that go there, and they can't tell the difference between a cherry pie, a baguette, and a gingerbread man. They think they're animals.
They think they're animals.
I think they're working for the wrong activist club.
Yeah.
They
Somebody gave them the wrong address. Oh, it's across the street? Ah.
See, it would have been funnier if they were a dessert activist instead of an animal activist. Yeah. See, that would have fit a little better. Like, because, I mean, listen, if we're going to go down the crazy dessert aisle of maniacs, you might as well have dessert activists. If
you eat brownie, you're a clowny. If you eat brownie, you're a clowny. It's a good one. So before, because I already kind of sort of tried to do his voice, I clipped probably something that'll show up maybe in every review till the end of time. Here's a little line of this.
Oh, yeah.
I love that. One more time for you guys.
Oh, yeah.
It's just perfect. Just the perfect
I mean,
amount
the
of
voice
sound.
is very funny.
It's great.
By the way, I think unless I looked it up wrong, you know, the ant is a guy, right? He's a famous.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I just thought first of all, I thought she looked like B. Arthur. I thought she was like B. Arthur.
She looked like Dustin Hoffman. She looked like Tootsie. Exactly.
I wasn't like, but he sounded so much like a woman, and I realized that he's an impersonator. And I looked him up. He does all these different like career, you know. He did a great job because I thought, I wanted to see what else she was in, and then it said like looked him up, and he's like a famous impersonator. So yeah, he did a good job. So
doing
anyway.
roller boogie for the troops just before Pearl Harbor. What a thing to add in. There's a few things added into this movie that you're like, whoa.
Yeah. I mean, the ending I didn't expect at all. The direction they went in. So but yeah.
So GDM he breaks out. He goes back in time.
Well, he doesn't break out. They let him out. The activists. Do you think it's that easy to use a remote control for a time machine?
I hope not. I really hope that something they work on you probably can't go infinite amount of times, even though we see it used a number of times. But no, it should be very difficult to do that.
Because I mean,
you press the wrong button.
It's hard to get into someone's cell phone, yet he's able to figure out how to use. Like, you don't think they would put a code, like to open up the time machine. You know, you have to enter this code first before you can use the controller. Like nothing. He randomly pushes numbers. So if you just randomly push numbers, okay.
I would have preferred, like 70s, 80s. But if it went back way, that's what I was thinking. If I don't know what the fourth one is, but I don't know if that's when they started doing the different universes, like against Evil Bong. But good thing they didn't do like different time periods, like French Revolution.
but see, that would have been funnier because France is big on desserts.
Yeah.
And you have this, I think that would have been a funny. Like, I just feel like disco. Really, there's no meaning behind it. Like, at least if he went to like the Old West, he can, have a shootout or something. Like,
oh my God,
right?
Could you imagine that?
Right. I think that time period would have been better than, or caveman time, whatever. The disco, really just dancing the entire, So all right, that's fine.
Yeah. No. But I like that era. It's like the 70s, 80s. But it's funny when he gets there, we see like. They really go in real quick because we see like the cocaine being used by the DJ, girls just making out like in the first scene. I think she even says, "Do you want to make out?"
Yeah,
and they start making out, and it's like, whoa, the 70s were what a time to be alive, right?
It's funny though. I feel like they tried so hard with like the costumes. It almost looked like it was like a 70s themed party. The way people, because there literally was a different type of dress, like attire or whatever, for every single person there. Like, and it was like the most extreme. Like, if you're going to a party, you would have wore one of those outfits. That's what it looked like.
The green plaid, plaid bell bottoms. Yeah.
The only thing they didn't have is the Saturday Night Fever white suit, which I'm surprised that would have been one of them.
They did not.
Gingerdead should have had that.
He should have. Oh my God! For a scene, but then that would open up a whole Pandora's box because where did he but get that? Unless there was a doll there that just had like a big Ken doll or something.
Well, you mean like where did he get a nail gun or cleaver? Because I mean, this is a roller rink. Yet somehow they have cleavers there. Like I'm pretty massive.
The cleaver to me makes no sense because there's no like kitchen.
No,
but the nail gun makes sense because they could have been doing like construction. That makes more sense.
Where was it construction? Because all you see two areas in this movie. You see three. You see a closet or office in a closet. Look like you see the parking lot where the car wash was, which made no sense. And then you see the roller rink. Like there was no kitchen. There was no construction. I mean, so you have two random items that he somehow got his hands on, and he's able to hold.
His
and
hands.
use.
Yeah. It's the fact that he has hands and not like mittens.
So I have this question here, which happens throughout the whole movie. They don't show him doing it, but how does he open doors?
I don't know.
Because he's
It's gotta be
constantly opening
impossible.
doors. Like, is he jumping to the doorknob and like turning it? Like, because he opens up every door in this movie, but they don't show him doing it. I just want to know how he's doing it because he's so small.
I would love to watch him struggle like the Pillsbury Doughboy, and he's just like hanging and swinging back and forth, and it takes forever to open.
Well,
but no, that's true.
okay. I can understand if it's the doorknob that goes up and down. Fine. You jump up, you reach it,
easy.
right? But the spinning one, turning one, he's not doing that. His hands are too small.
Impossible. It's impossible.
so-
He'd be stuck. That'd be the end of the movie.
Yeah.
Roll
Yeah, okay.
credits. He gets stuck in
Okay.
one room.
Okay.
So we just happen to get to this roller disco on the night of the big roller awards, the Roller Boogie Awards. The one thing I love about GDM is he has some great lines for people. He uses "see you next Tuesday" like right when he says "f you" earlier, and it sounds amazing. Just his voice. But he sees the girl at the roller disco. She walks past him, and he calls her "see you next Tuesday." And I'm like, man, this guy is he's off the wall.
Okay. So he obviously is very attracted to all the women there, but he's a
Of course,
gingerbread man. So, shouldn't he be attracted to desserts and not people? Because the
Only if
people
they're
are not gonna be-
homicidal ones that speak, I would think.
Yeah, but
He probably did something with that cherry pie.
I'm sure he did. But okay, but that makes sense. But the fact that he's attracted to humans makes no sense.
Yeah. It makes anytime any creatures in movies
right.
are attracted to humans, weird. Because why
Unless,
would they
again,
be?
we don't know the backstory unless his mind is of human that was inside
he
a
is.
gingerbread.
Oh yeah, that's what
wait.
he is.
Okay, that's 100% true. that's how he
Yeah,
became
that's
Gingerdead.
it's like Jack Frost. Yeah, because it's Gary Busey. His character's like a serial killer. I'm pretty sure.
Okay, so
somebody will
so
fact
then
check us. But
his
I'm pretty
mind
sure.
is human, so he considers himself basically human, mind-wise.
Yeah.
Okay, then it makes sense. Okay.
It does make sense, but still very weird.
No, it is weird. Well, also, he's running across the dance floor multiple times. Nobody sees him. No one.
no one.
No one.
Except
because
Cherry.
Yeah, well, she sees him but she doesn't see him when he's running on the dance floor. And when you see him running,
oh no, one time she does, because she does the head shake.
Oh yeah, you're right. Okay,
but that was
no one else
the
does.
later parts.
Because the camera shows just his legs running, like when he's running across the, and it looks very funny. Yeah. That's but no one noticed. People will notice if there's a bug or a bee on the floor. That's small.
Yeah.
You're not going to see a gingerbread running around and unless they're all on coke, which is very possible, and they don't realize or anything else. Because that guy had a bag filled with different types of drugs.
Oh, him and his girl were doing 5 rounds. Yeah, that was pretty funny.
Okay.
Man.
All right.
So then then the other plot of this movie, we meet the roller derby owner Trixie, Jamie talked about earlier, and the whole thing about this movie is she owes $85,000 in back tax, and that's a lot of money. That is think about 1970s money, even it's probably for a property that big, maybe 20,000 nowadays. So it means Trixie never, since she got back from Pearl Harbor, which we'll learn about in a little bit, she must have just not paid anything. How did they not get rid of her before then? No, but they happened to send a letter on this day that she owes $85K.
Well, you think about it also. It looks like they probably have a regular group of people that go there, right? I don't.
Oh,
I
yes.
think what you see there now are the people that go there all the time.
Agreed.
Okay. They're all good skaters, so I'm assuming they all own their own shoes, their own skates. They probably bring their own skates.
No, we saw
there.
that dirtbag guy, the dirtbag worker there, spraying the inside. So there was rentals because he was spraying them and huffing it.
There were rentals, but they were very. But my guess is most people don't Where are they making the money? Even back then, so for 85,000 taxes, that's a lot.
That's a lot. That's a lot. Even if you charged which I bet you the charge was probably $1 then.
Yeah, absolutely.
$1. So you have the 85,000 people that are that bored to go, hey, did we do every other thing possible today? Or is
I wanna
every other
know-
place closed?
How'd they come up with that number? Like, would they think, like, you know, like, this is a roller skating place? Like, you know, let's just throw it. Like, do you think it was just a number they just threw out there? Like, all right, 85.
Yes, I hope so, because
Like,
it makes zero sense.
it makes
It's not
zero
like
sense.
achievable. I love that, again, in this day and age, like nowadays, like the high school teams around here, they do like the car washes. I think it's like
Right.
$5 or $10. So how much was Junie and the gang when they go, we'll do a late night car wash, and
Oh,
Junie, like,
Oh,
amazing.
Yeah.
Like, I was not.
But why? Okay. First of all, I've never heard of a car wash late at night. Second, they bring their equipment or, you know, soap and sponges, all that, to a roller skating rink to do a
Yeah.
car wash there. And is this like a normal thing? Like, do they do this all the time? Or are they just like, it just made like, it was such a random thing just to show girls getting soaking wet and, like, you know, doing car wash, like a typical 80s kind of thing. Because it really made no sense. Like, it
No,
didn't
zero
place-
sense.
Zero. And I didn't see one customer. Like, they made $2, a $2 tip, I think. She said, 'cause
Yeah,
she-
but it was the only car they washed was Trixie's. They didn't have any
Yeah.
customers when they went in the
that's,
thing.
That's what I'm saying. So, and
Yeah.
and she had trouble counting the $2 that were in there because she was like counting for a while. And then she goes, "Yeah, we made $2."
Yeah. And you know what was crazy? There was another plot that was like not a plot, but another scene they could have done, but maybe they didn't want to, because they said two options. One was we'll do the car wash with Junie and her gang. And then another suggestion was we'll do a bake sale. And Trixie's like, oh, those are great ideas. We never got the bake sale because essentially he is GDM, the Gingerdead
Yeah.
Man. That would have been a good scene of him like looking at maybe the other cookies with, or maybe if they sold Gingerbread Man, then it could have been like a funny scene, like him saving his brothers.
Would that have been cannibalism if he ate one of
If
the
he
brownies?
ate one, I would think so. But I don't know about the whole
Okay.
possession if that counts.
Well, I get it. Or like, is that like different species? Like, so like a brownie is, you know, and a gingerbread are two different types of, you know, so it's not like, you know.
Yeah, that makes sense. I
Okay,
agree with that.
Okay. All right. So the choice was either go outside where no one is and do a car wash, or have a bake sale inside where everybody is.
But you're going to sell to the people that are there. And where are you getting baked goods late at night? Like,
Probably
you're
the
gonna go
same
to the
place
store-
that he got a cleaver and a nail gun. Oh,
That's true.
Wait, okay. Having baked goods there that are probably pre-made is more believable than the fact that he found a cleaver and running around slicing people in half.
No, I know that.
So you know, in every movie that has a car wash with like women doing car wash, they're all the same, right? Like, it's like the girls get so into it and all that. Like, is that a real thing? Because you like, I've never seen a car wash like that, and it's in every movie. Every movie has the girls, you know, in like a bikini or, you know, a short shirt and short shorts and like spraying each other, like they're having a pillow fight. And like, you know, like, all I see is like usually like the same, like old guys drying and washing the car when you're done. And when you go to a car wash, like, you know, there's nothing sexy about it.
No, nothing. Or you just go through the
But-
automatic one where you go into neutral and then you just go.
Right.
No.
So do you think that was a thing though, having like sexy car washes?
Maybe
think
I
so.
guess like maybe it was for the people when they see the customer come up they're into, then they can be sexy. But after like you gotta get tired after like the third person.
Yes. I mean, so
Yeah,
I mean,
you're gonna do that too
but
long. They were giving out a lot of energy, Junie and the
No, but-
gang. They were
oh,
jumping up and
ridiculous.
down.
yeah.
They were.
But I
So
just
here's
wonder,
my
like,
question.
if
Yeah.
wait, but if you think that was a real thing of like having sexy car washes, you know, in
Oh.
town.
I would
Okay,
hope
I
so.
don't-
That'd have been a great idea in the 70s. They have a sexy coffee shops up in Oregon. They were called God, what the hell is the name? But anyway, the girl won like this big lawsuit because she basically is just wearing like nipple covers, and it's like, and it's very normal, the exchange. It's not like she's stripping. We had to go there one time because we heard about it.
Oh, of course.
And yeah,
of course.
we go.
Wait, so
you
it's a
order-
strip bar coffee place? Isn't that kind of dangerous?
It's in like it's like in a shack, and you just order your coffee, and she's in
Wait.
very provocative clothes.
Okay, hold on. So it's like a shack place. So obviously it's a shady kind of place. I mean, you wouldn't say a shack outside of something being shady.
Bikini Girls Coffee is the name.
Oh my gosh. First of all, I would think that's kind of dangerous on the job. Because if you spill coffee, at least if you're wearing clothes, you might stop the burn a little bit. You're wearing bikinis and you spill, you're going to scar up. That's a dangerous.
I just looked it up, and the market went up. Now there's so many competitors. Bikinis Girl Coffee, Temptations Bikini Espresso, Ladybug Bikini Espresso.
So what is it about coffee and bikinis?
Well, you're just ordering it from a hot girl. That's what it is.
Well, then why don't you just open up a supermarket and have bikini supermarkets? Where there's more people.
You could do that, but that's a lot of overhead.
Okay. All right. All right, so what was your question?
My question was, what were we just talking about?
Car washes.
No. So when they're doing the car wash, I don't know anything about roller derbies or roller discos. I don't know if there's a special way to clean the floors, but why was there hydrochloric acid?
Because it was next to the cleaver that shouldn't have been there. Literally, there's so many dangerous things at this roller rink that, again, made no sense. Yeah, why was there? And was it that easy for him to siphon it through the hose? And I mean, literally, yeah, I don't know.
Siphon it. All he did was, he switched the hoses because then she's in charge of the hose.
Yeah,
she sprays the two girls. They're very excited. And then they start melting like crazy.
So the minute they started screaming, wouldn't you stop spraying them? Because she sprayed them for a long time.
Well, she's not too smart in this role because
clearly she sprayed herself.
She sprays herself. I was like, oh no, when she turned to look at it, I'm like, no way. And she did it. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, again, that made no sense. I thought she was after she killed him, I thought she might have been one of the survivors somehow, but no, it made no sense to spray herself. Although, how about the one girl, her eyeball popped out when she was good.
Some of it was fun. I bet you Jeff worked on some of these because they were really fun. A lot of the scenes, some were definitely rushed and not like they looked bad. It seems like they just didn't give enough time. Like when he just starts randomly hacking a guy we never met before going to the bathroom. That was so quick, and they were probably let's just get another kill in here. At least the other characters that died, for the most part, we heard them speak before. Even some of the random girls on the roller rink, we've heard them speak or say things. But no,
I know
that guy, nothing.
And it's funny. When we see her sidekick, I didn't think anything of it. And then when I forget where, right before the Porky scene, I'm like, she looks like the gym teacher from Porky's. And it's right before that. And I didn't put two and two together in the beginning until that scene. I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe they're doing this. They're going there.
My God. And then so then we meet Cherry for the first time. It was Trixie's niece who's just showing up on this terrible day because they're going to have to shut down the place because the $85,000 owed back taxes. And she looks really young, but who she looked exactly like? It was scary. She looks like Amy Smart.
She did.
Scarily like her.
She did. And I was trying to see if because she did kind of look familiar, and maybe it was because of Amy Smart. So I looked her up. She really wasn't in a lot of stuff.
I'm surprised. She was not in a role like this, in this kind of genre, like the horror comedy thing. She was good. It was a character that was she was the character, which is so funny that Billy Butler wrote this because he was in Friday 7, which was Jason versus Carrie, and then he writes this movie, which is GDM versus Carrie. It's kind of like that same thing.
Yeah. All right.
Pretty
same
much.
Universe. That's right. Yeah.
It is in the same universe.
Okay.
The 13th one will be Jason versus GDM. Oh my God, man.
Okay, so but before that, you missed the part that during a car wash, by the way, that he decides before he kills them what he was doing.
My God, yes, he was masturbating.
So weird. It was so. And I mean, the noises that he was making, and again, we've seen him run around with no clothes on, and he's flat as a board.
Yeah.
So I really just want does the dough rise? Is that what happens? So because because in the very scene coming up, soon, the thing is bigger than him.
It is, yeah.
So is it like clay? Like it just comes out of from inside of him? It's like
I don't know how it goes back down because he had it for a while. I guess seeing that scene in front of you, the girls, spraying each other, and then he might enjoy watching them, their demise, because he had that still, right? I think the next scene is that one.
First of all, he does that a few times in the movie. So, he has a lot of energy because it does happen again when he's in the office closet, whatever.
Yeah.
But, okay, but we see what he grows later in the movie, which is taken off him. And it doesn't seem to bother him the rest of the movie. So
it doesn't, yeah.
It's so I don't is that because he's like Play-Doh, if he loses something, he just grows it back? I don't know, there's got to be more explanation of what happens, when he gets aroused, because it just doesn't make sense. Where's it coming from? Where does it go when he's done? And if he loses it, does it just grow another one?
Yeah, you're right. He did scream for a second, but he didn't mention it for the rest of the movie.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh my God. The ginger. I never thought I would see that in a movie.
Oh my gosh.
The gingerbread man, jacking it like that. Oh my God.
Like a madman, and he does it a few times. It's yeah.
But one of his good one-liners, I couldn't write down all of them because there's so many. But the one of the first best ones, some hose for the hose. It's just these random lines, man.
No, and yeah, the voice is very funny. It just it's such a cartoony kind of voice that just goes, with him. So they did a good job with that, I think.
Yeah. So Cherry actually is adamant, which you'll learn about later, is because she was roller derby boogieing for the troops at Pearl Harbor, and then her act wasn't going well, and then at the same time Pearl Harbor happened, which is a really weird thing to add into
based
the
on
movie.
what she looks like now. If that was the only option to entertain the troops, they must have been because you nailed it. She looked like Mrs. Doubtfire.
Yeah,
she did. So all right.
Yeah, not a real good option. I'd be like, no, I'll go over.
Yeah.
I'll go overseas.
Yeah, send us tonight, please.
Yeah. The other guys that are in Europe are getting, fucking Bob Hope, and we got Trixie, the roller skating queen.
Yeah. And I think before they kill the car wash scene, the movie's on. Now again, the movie's only an hour, 69 minutes.
Oh.
And, whoa! I didn't realize that. Do you think they did that purposely?
Maybe.
Oh my gosh. But it was about 30 minutes before there was any killing. So we lit up outside of the first scene. Because the first scene comes in right away, so they don't waste any time. But after and that scene was only about 5 minutes long. After that, there's so much fluff of disco for 30 minutes in this movie. If you're going to be a spoof movie and you're going to be a spoof horror movie, there's got to be more involved than again, 30 minutes of probably maybe 25 minutes of disco dancing and 5 minutes of everything else.
And a lot of little date scenes with Randy. He's into Cherry and he wants her to go roller skating, and she's sort of into him. And he goes, "I'm gonna go get something," and then we meet Coco and Yoko, and they're talking to her. And they're like, "Ooh, Randy's kind of into you. He's the hot guy, even though he's the dirty guy." And he's scarfing a pretzel and drinking a soda. While you're hitting on a girl, you're gonna go get food,
and at least go in the back room or something. No, he's doing it right. As you can see. And now we get, besides the stupid dancing, now we get a montage of trying on dresses, the makeover scene. Seriously, this movie, there's so much filler that I just wonder if their budget was they just really had a low budget and they just had to
definitely had a low budget. All these movies are
They do, but I mean, again,
Yeah.
so you have all the skating, which is taking up time, and now they literally have like a 5-minute montage of her trying on different dresses. Like for a movie like this, that's important.
Yeah.
I thought the two girls were setting her up. By the way,
Oh, Coco and Yoko. Me too. I
Yeah.
knew they were in on it.
I thought they were gonna like that was because I mean obviously I knew the pig blood scene was gonna be eventual happen, and I thought they were just setting her up to think that she has friends, and all of a sudden they all turn on her. So.
Yeah, no,
Okay.
that would really the parallel to Carrie would have been that. Yeah, if there was like
Yep.
more people involved, and then there's other things we have talked about with the ending.
Oh.
Because it's like people forget everything that happened
yeah, I
prior.
know. So
Like it
so let me
never
ask you
happened.
this. So
yeah,
Trixie overlooks the entire skating rink from inside.
yeah, which it looks like an apartment window.
Why? Why does it look like an apartment window? It's so like ridiculous. Like it's like I mean like I guess that's part of the like spoof, like but like it looks so dumb. Like
She's just
it looked
peeping
like
the whole time.
the whole movie. She looked like Mother from Psycho.
Yeah.
she was just in a window sideways watching the whole time, and
And Randy
an
must
apartment window.
know that there's a window there. And I guess Cherry is like her first time there. Randy's like, hey, don't worry, you should skate. Oh, my aunt doesn't want me to. It's okay, you can skate. She's not gonna see. What do you mean? She sees everything. She's just peeping. She's like
she's
rear
high
window.
up and she can see everything.
She's rear
Absolutely,
window.
she is rear window. She can see everything.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man. How about so now this is the Porky scene. We talked about the
Oh my
druggy
gosh.
couple, which they were kind of funny, but they were on like at this point we saw them start the drug thing. They're at like 3 or 4. This is when they're trying to go into the room, which eventually is
So,
that scene coming up too.
but I'm not. I don't do drugs, and but if I did, do you think it's smart to have a baggie filled with 6 different types of drugs when they all
No.
look the same? How do you know what you're taking? Because he's mentioned like 6 different drugs that he goes, we're gonna do them all tonight, and then he has a Ziploc bag with them all in the bag, and he goes, "There, take these." Do you know which ones you're grabbing? Because they do look all very similar.
Well, drug addicts would. They'd be like, all right, the triangle one does this, the square one
Okay.
does this, the octagon one does that. But I couldn't imagine like doing if I were to do multiple drugs. I couldn't imagine like more than 2. That's scary. Even just 2, you're like, from
You
what
know
I've read,
the 70s were a different time. I
the
mean, it's,
7, no rules, everything worked.
I
But
think
so-
that was probably
yeah.
the most believable thing is the DJ doing the lines of coke. Like for a
Oh, yeah.
70s, that was happening. Like, I mean,
Oh,
without a
100.
doubt.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, totally. So how
Okay.
about the Porky scene finally? So you're saying like just before this, you notice the sweater, you're like, but
Yep.
his line, I couldn't find that to clip, is just classic. He says, "Come a little closer. I got a snack cake for you."
All right. Okay. So this is the girls' bathroom. The hole couldn't
Yeah.
be any bigger.
It's
Like,
so
it-
big that
it-
you could see his head.
Oh, it's ridiculous. So like the fact that she didn't know, like no one notices that there's a hole the size of like it looked like a mallet was like hit against the wall.
like a fist. Like somebody was
Like
angry
a
and
fist.
punched.
Correct.
And it was
correct.
insanely the best is his face.
Oh yeah.
A lot of the times
could-
in these movies, like Evil Bong, and they don't look, but he looks good in a way. Like his face, when you see it in the hole,
No,
you're like,
because
oh
of the
my
stupid
god.
teeth. No. But
Ah.
but she looks the hole like she's never seen it before. Like she's shocked at like
Oh, it's brand new.
like, yeah, I mean the thing is huge. The hole. I mean, because clearly it had to fit what comes out of the hole right after that, which is again ridiculous. But okay, all right. So first of all, does she see what's behind the wall? Like, does she see the gingerbread, or like when by the time she gets there, he comes out of the hole? Like, does she know the gingerbread, or does she think it's another person?
Well, I hope she doesn't think it's another person because remember, she rips it off.
No, I know that, but I'm saying
And eats
before
it.
she does. Well, that's what I'm getting to. So, like, before that happens, though, when she grabs it, do you think she thinks like, because like she doesn't question the fact that she's basically grabbing a gingerbread's junk. So,
Yeah.
like, do you I wonder if like, does she think it's a person at first? First of all, she looks the type that she's probably never seen one before. Like she's, so maybe she's just confused with what it looks like. But okay, so maybe she thinks real ones pop off like that. It's
Oh
possible.
my God.
But okay, so in her mind, she knows what she's holding in her hand. So the first thing she decides to do is smell it first and then take a bite.
Ugh, that's insane.
Like, why?
Insane.
I mean,
when
like,
she bites it. Oh.
And her face, because she's like, oh, it's good. Like, I mean, it is gingerbread, but like, it's
gotta be gross. Just think about him. He's
Oh, my
killing
gosh.
people. He can't
Oh.
wash himself, really.
Well,
And how about
and
this? To add on top of it, the fact that she reached over, grabbed what she might have thought was a real one at first, and then ripped it off and smelled
Right.
it, eat it. But then what does she do? She casually goes back to go to the bathroom.
with it in her hand. So she's going to
Yes.
eat it while she's on the bowl. Yeah. Ugh.
My God. And Cherry at the same time, it's like when the disco makeover's happening, and her aunt is. I love when she's looking through the window with the binoculars at her,
Ugh.
and then she's like, "Whore."
Okay. So how far away is she that she needs binoculars for the skating rink? I mean, she's in the same room with them.
Yeah.
Why does she need binoculars?
I think it's comic relief because I think it was only
It
one
is.
time she used it, and it was really funny the way she brought it up. But yeah,
No, it is.
So
It is,
silly.
but it's so dumb. And okay, so Sherry, she's never skated before, right? Right? Because
no, Cherry
Oh.
never did. Yeah,
Okay, because the guy that likes her later on made a comment that she's the best skater he's ever seen.
and they
What is-
barely moved.
They
They're
made-
like doing very
They
slow.
They were doing like prom dancing, like on a slow song. So,
Yeah.
but he literally says to her, "You got to go up there. You're the best skater I've ever seen."
I know. There's
She didn't
there's a
even skate.
one guy that's in the green
In the
plaid.
green suit.
outfit.
Yeah.
He was actually like dancing, and he
Yes.
was like going off his
Well,
skates.
okay.
And you're like, all right, this
All-
guy's
that
good.
that whole crew that was you kept seeing going in a circle. They all had to be professional skaters, right? Because they were all skating.
I would hope so.
That's-
Could you
yeah,
imagine
you
the
hope so,
one thing
right.
they get wrong? All right, we're not going to cast real skaters and just people falling in the background.
Well, considering that majority of the movie is the skating, they had to get
Yeah.
good skaters there. So
They did,
That's
yeah.
probably where the budget went. The budget probably went to just paying for professional skaters since they're going to be on screen more.
900,000
Okay.
professional skaters, 100,000 the rest of
Okay.
the
So here's my question: since they were on screen a lot, but they didn't speak, are they in SAG?
I think they're inside.
Okay. All right.
Because they did, oh, hey, oh,
Well,
disco.
that could have been off screen by saying
That's
that.
true.
So I'm just curious if because the movie again, the majority of the movie is them. Like, I wonder if there's a rule SAG that if you don't speak but you have a certain amount of screen time, does that count? Like, if you're on there 30 minutes or more, then you can join the SAG club.
I would I would think that number would be really low if they do that. Like, just think about a scene. Like, if you're a background extra in a scene, that one scene is probably like 4
Yeah.
minutes, 5 minutes. So if you're in another scene, I don't know. They should do that.
I don't
by
know. I
time
don't
limit.
because people. I mean, like I said, I was an extra in a TV show once years ago. Paid $75. We had our own table of food, which was like nothing compared to what the actors had. But if I did a bunch of those, I'm still not going to be in SAG. I'm doing
What
background
show was
stuff, you know?
that?
It was like a summer. It's so ridiculous. It might have been like my sophomore or freshman year after college or summer. Didn't have a job, so I'm like, my friends said, "Hey, look, they're doing casting calls." So I went to a casting call in the city. I read some lines, paid tons of money for headshots, and then you didn't hear the story about with Samuel Jackson with Shaft?
No.
Oh, really? Was it? So okay, so I did it. It was an extra. It was a cop show, and I had a whole. It was like we were like rioting or something in the background. I didn't know. It was in the background. So then I get a call to be in Shaft, right? But they're like, listen, it's a winter scene, so you have to wear a suit, like we're at a restaurant, and like a heavy coat, like a winter coat. My winter coat was filled with cat hair because I barely wore it. So I throw it on. I drive to the city, go there. We have like one of the extras, like whatever, like brushing me off with their lint brush. They couldn't get the cat hair all off, and they said we can't use you.
Ah.
So I could have been in Shaft, but because I had cat hair on my jacket, I couldn't be in there.
That ended. That was it.
And that was the last time I even tried it. I'm like,
That's
all right,
when
I'm
you
done.
gave up. What, Jamie? Why did you do it again? I was always afraid that they wanted that heavy coat again. Heavy coat only ruled the 90s.
I don't even know if I ever wore that jacket. I mean, it was whatever, but I mean, it was just so ridiculous. Like, how stupid am I? Like, I could have been in a movie with Samuel Jackson, but because of my stupid cat hair on my jacket.
God damn. Jeez, that's great.
I was supposed to be Samuel Jackson's son in the movie. So, that's yeah.
They're like, yeah,
Anyway.
we'll get another white guy. Man, dude, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So
All right.
the GDM, he finds the drug couple who's in the storage room ready to bone. Now, you mentioned
okay.
before, like, does he regenerate? So is he like a starfish? So because he does start
He does.
cranking
He
it
does.
again when
Yes.
they're hooking up.
Yes. So he must it must be like like Sandman or whatever, like a Play-Doh that you just forms another one out of the clay. Like, so I guess if he keeps losing it, does he get smaller and smaller because he keeps using the same dough?
I would think so.
See,
yeah.
that'd be interesting. Like by the end of the movie, he's so small because he's jacked it so many times and he lost it every time and like because he's loose, like he explodes every time. Does that come out of like part of his dough? Because he doesn't have blood, I don't think. He doesn't have like
because when they start breaking him up at the end of the movie, there's no blood. It was just him. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. So anything
Yeah.
that comes out of him, that's part of him.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
All
he's
right.
getting yeah, it'd be funny, yeah. If he keeps getting smaller and smaller, yeah.
This literally looked like a closet because it was so small, but it was an office. Like it was an office desk in there.
Yeah, there was a desk in there. Like
Yeah.
he was hiding behind like a cabinet or something.
Okay, wait, well, he really wasn't hiding behind anything because the
He was
cabinet
pretty
was
wide
empty.
open.
It
Yeah,
was. The cabinet was empty, but he was on the shelf that was again wide, but they were so high in drugs, clearly for what happens next, which is so
Dude.
disturbing.
It's so wild. Guy comes in, the janitor, and he's really hideous. And then they see
He
him
looks
with a
like
hunk.
Daniel Stern a little bit. Like he has like the Daniel Stern or Kramer hair. Like he's like he looks like a mess.
Yeah. And he's real hairy. And the best part was obviously GDM saw him as the hairy janitor. But when when he goes in, and we missed over the lines or glossed over the lines of when they start hooking up, she says scissor me, baby. And then she says hammer me. So that was like their dirty talk.
Well, that's the nail gun came in play.
Kind of foreshadowing, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, because then he uses the line of nail you or something. But
Yes.
anyway, so we see this guy as like a hunk.
Oh,
And dude, the way Gingerdead Man
she sees that they see him as a hunk.
They both do. That's what I mean. I'm saying
Yeah,
GDM
yeah,
sees
okay.
him as a hairy janitor, and
Yes,
he's still
yes.
totally into it. Like I think
Yes.
he likes it even more. He is like going
he's
nuts.
a creep. What had made this part I think better is that they saw him, but saw Gingerbread as a hunk, and he joined in.
That'd be really funny.
See, that would have been better, and then he kills him. Because then after you realize after I guess like the audience sees him back as the janitor with no clothes on, right behind like in there, it's just so gross. And the way he's kissing her, like it's
God.
like can you imagine being that actress and like she's like, please let's just do one take of the scene, like really, like it's like because that was gross. That was real.
Take
He looked like he was
72.
sweaty.
I keep getting the end line wrong. Rats. We'll practice later. We'll work on it tomorrow, guys. He keeps sabotaging stuff. He has like a button on his phone that like turns off the lights. He's like, oh man, guess we gotta do it again.
Hey, you guys want to come over tonight and practice? That's
Yeah.
what.
But I love
so
that
gross,
right
though.
after he like orgasms DM, that's when he gets the automatic
And it's
nail
almost
gun.
like he has to. Okay, first of all, he has a very aggressive orgasm. Like he's like like he really like he's like angry because right afterwards, every single time, it's like a struggle. First of all, and then afterwards, he's like angry that he has to let off more steam by killing people.
Yeah.
Because that's what it seems like. Because now this is only his second kill, and both of them happen right afterwards.
Yeah. He shoots. I love that. Obviously the janitor is sober and knows what's going on. Well, maybe not because he's a janitor, and maybe he's like,
Yeah.
today's a rough Friday night at the roller disco.
It is the 70s too, so I mean,
That is
he was
true.
high. Yeah, so
So I love that they get shot, and they're like, oh, like she is like, I can't feel my arms, like in like
Oh my
a
gosh.
cool way. And then he's like, this is great. And then he shoots him, and then he looks at him, and I forget what his one-liner was. Something like getting nailed. Then shoots him with a nail right in the basically in the brain. And he's like, oh.
So I've never used a nail gun before, but how many bullets? How many nails are in a nail gun?
Oh, there's a lot.
A lot, like
Maybe 100. Like 100.
Oh, okay, because he does shoot a lot of
But
nails.
those are big nails. They're like,
No,
yeah, I don't know how many of those big nails, but I don't even know if they didn't even. I'm sure they do have industrial nail guns for those are big nails.
No, well, by you saying that, it made me think of the first scene, which I can't believe we skipped over. But when and again, I hate to go back, but when Clarice goes, or whatever her name, Charisse, or goes to the prison, and she's asked to take off her earrings. And then, do you have any more piercings? And then she reaches down her shirt, takes down 2 more. And then she goes down her pants and takes down a bolt.
Yes, that was pretty funny. That was pretty funny. That was the spoof angle, like you said. The loaded weapon.
That's such a Naked Gun thing. And again, if the comedy went along with that, fine. Because that is such a bizarre thing to pull out.
That was great. The bolt. I forgot about that.
Yeah. So did I. When you said those nails are big, it made me think of that. All right.
And then they were like giant. The nipple piercings looked like they would be way too heavy. Like her boobs would fall off. It was like the biggest pieces of metal. Yeah.
Oh, ridiculous. Yeah. Okay.
I know we've mentioned this a few times already. I just have to read this line that Carrie says to her aunt, like when they're arguing, like while the scene's going on, because she explains everything to her, the pill hopper. But just before that, she goes, "If you hate skating so much, then why own a roller boogie?" And then the aunt looks at her and total rip-off line, which I get. You can do that, like with spoofs and stuff. But Adam Sandler's, they're all going to laugh at you?
That's
exactly.
Yeah, but it happens in Carrie. I think
that's the same line, really?
I think that's a line from. I think it's a line from Carrie. That's why, because I did think of the Adam Sandler right away, and I'm like,
because it sounded like it.
It did, and the way she said it, it sounded like it. I typed it in, which movie is this line from, and it came up with Carrie.
So that's good.
So that makes sense why they did it. But yeah, I mean,
and then it happened right afterwards. So that's what happened. Then we saw her carry like powers with. I forgot she knocked something over or turned the light off. Yeah.
Well, she had a fight with her aunt first.
Yeah, that's when they were fighting, right?
Yeah. So,
but that's what triggers it.
Yes, and she doesn't tell her about her background yet, does she? Or is this where?
This is what she tells her. Yeah.
Okay.
Pearl Harbor.
Right.
Yep.
Gotcha. Okay.
And now right now it's time for the roller boogie to winner to be announced. Again, at this point, Cherry has barely roller skated.
Barely.
Nothing. And when she's going down to go with everyone to maybe see if she got nominated, this is when she finds the blood and she's following the little tiny footprints of blood. And then she sees him. He pops up, looks at him. And the worst part is then she gets startled, goes against the wall, and that other girl.
And she sees blood on the box.
Yeah. She sees all of that.
Yeah.
A girl bumps in and says, "Cherry, they're going to announce the finalists. Come on!" And wouldn't she say like, "Hey, do you see this blood too?" Or Warner? I think I see this little thing running around.
How did she not see the bodies?
Maybe they're in the cardboard box. I don't know.
No, because Trixie sees them later.
I know. Later on, they're definitely displayed Michael Myers.
So she should have seen the bodies when she was. First of all, the room wasn't that big. It's fairly
it looked like they were in a different room. Yeah, I know.
Correct. Yeah, so I mean, she should have seen the bodies. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
God. Yeah, you're right, because they are kind of put on. Yeah, they're in the same thing later in the movie, but the room that he was in was not that same room. In that part. So that is a little confusing.
So, okay. So there's 2 kills. Did we get the bathroom kill yet?
What did he just hacks the guy's legs?
Oh, his ankles. No, or or Large March when he's hiding in a toilet bowl.
Large Margie.
Well,
he's hiding.
the Porky's. Was that?
He doesn't kill her.
Was that? That was the guy. That was the guy that was in the bathroom that he was hiding in the toilet.
Yeah,
he was hiding in the toilet for one scene. Why was he in the toilet? And how did he get there?
I'm no idea.
Because it was okay. We passed that part, but I was wondering why he was sitting in the toilet, inside the toilet.
Yeah, I don't know why he was in there. Yeah,
Okay.
that was weird.
All right. Okay.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
that's when he hacked the guy's ankles. I
Yes,
think
yes,
that's
it
when
was.
he was hacking
right.
the guy's ankles. Yeah.
Okay.
So
But
Cherry, we find.
didn't he have a key?
Yeah.
Didn't he have a key to get in somewhere? I wrote down where did he get the key from?
Now I know he's using his hands, but he was carrying keys.
He had a key at one point to get in one of the rooms or somewhere because I wrote down where did he get the key from? And this
I don't remember.
This is right before the DJ was snorting more lines.
Yeah, I don't remember him opening it. I don't remember anybody
He
opening
did.
the door. I'm trying to.
Well, he had key. I know. I wrote it down. So he definitely opened up something.
I know, but what were they? What was
I don't.
hidden?
You know what? I don't know.
Yeah, I just
I
don't remember
forget.
anything that's hidden. But
All
all right.
right. Okay.
So Cherry she finds out that she's a finalist, and then dude, GDM's watching this whole thing. He's kind of excited, and then we see that they're doing the totals, and she wins by a landslide. Again, it's crazy because the other girl, like the hotter blonde, who's kind of like sort of like a Kristen Bell like.
Oh, she's the Mean Girls, crew.
Yeah.
I mean, like, yeah.
So like she's won the last like 3 years. She gets wiped away. Like the tallies, there's probably like only like 25 votes, which makes it even funnier to show how like least amount of people are there.
She looked like Ben Stiller's wife, Marsha Brady.
Sort of, yeah.
I thought it was at first. I thought she was in there. But yeah, I mean, she got there, and there was.
I would
two
think
other-
she's not in this movie. Could you imagine? that?
Well, I mean, was she in a lot of movies?
You haven't
I mean,
worked in a while, honey. You gotta get out there and do something.
When did this movie come out?
2011 or something.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay. All right.
pretty sure this is when, that's when this came out. But yeah. So then and then the next scene. So it's not like we skipped over it. What's so weird about when obviously when a movie show short, everything's like put together, but it just seems there's so many times they're doing like a kill scene, and then within that kill scene, there's like 3 cutaway scenes, and then they go back to it to, I guess, make the kill scene seem longer. But this is when he hacks the guy up in the next scene. So then out of nowhere, now Cherry wins. Trixie's like proud of her. So within like 10 minutes of movie time, like actual runtime, she's like, I hate you. They're going to laugh at you. Now she's like so proud of her. So everything changes like within seconds.
Yeah. Ridiculous.
Yeah. So then GDM, he's doing coke, and then he switches to cleaning stuff like in Cheech and Chong.
My gosh. Okay. So, yeah. And he gives it to it switches it so the DJ snorts that instead and I guess dies. So the gingerbread puts on headphones, but he's got no no ears.
No ears. No ears.
So, I need more story on Gingerbread because there's so much it doesn't make sense. Again, and I wrote, this is where I wrote down that he has fingers but no toes. Because, and he's I think is he scratching at this point, like with the headphones, or like he's doing something up there, like it's just it's like so bizarre. It's so ridiculous.
I know. And I do love like when he switches the coke, borax or whatever, the cleaning stuff for the coke, and he goes, "Here you go, Hoover," and then nobody notices that she's dead because the music only stops for like a second. They stop for 1 second,
and they're so mad. And
Yeah.
they were so mad. I mean, most of these places you could see the DJ, while you're skating, they don't see the little gingerbread with headphones on standing on the table, that's
even
normal.
funnier. Like just lean into the ridiculousness, and they're like, "Go DJ," and then he's like on roller skates. Like really, just go 110%.
That's why he should have wore the white suit, because no one had the white Saturday Night. If you're gonna make a spoof of Saturday Night Fever, Saturday Night Cleaver, and you don't have anyone with the white suit, the gingerbread should have worn the white suit without a doubt.
They should have like a last scene showdown, especially she's like Carrie. Do the same thing as Friday 7. Have them be the only two in the scene, and have that on the dance floor. It's dark, disco ball on, and they're going one-on-one.
And
That's what
just
you need
having
to do.
him walking and show the legs up of him strutting down, like, like down the hallway or something. You needed something like that. I think that would have been funny.
That'd have been really funny. He does his hair and then has like one little strand.
He doesn't even have hair. He doesn't
have hair, but it could be like just like some kind of icing. Something.
Okay.
Oh my god, man. So then Trixie at this point, because this is where, oh my god, dude, this whole movie, this part with Trixie, she says you got to put on your skates for the boys, because she's like flashing back like 34 years to Pearl Harbor. And the worst part is right after this, things get really serious, because the lady from Porky's runs in and says there's been a triple homicide. Trixie, you have to come. And they are like way too calm to see 3 bodies and be super calm about it.
She was very calm, because she just literally said, all right, we'll deal with this later or something. And she walked right back to the
but why?
presentation.
But why are we going to deal with it later? Remember, this place is closing tomorrow forever.
Oh,
Just so she can see her niece win the roller boogie bicentennial contest.
Should we assume these are all adults and not high school students?
I was thinking Cherry was young, but then I'm like, the guy that works there is older.
Yeah, no. I think I would say they have to be in their at least 20s, like they're college age. So the fact that like all this nonsense for a stupid roller skating ribbon is so ridiculous. Like, and again, it shows you how pathetic these girls are that are, I mean, some of them pretty hot. This is their life. I mean, this is like, like what they, so ridiculous.
I do love the gifts. Not all of them I wrote down, but I one for like whoever was the winner of the roller boogie 1976. One was "And the Pocket Fisherman." They were like all like these corny, like it was basically like game show prizes. It was the Pocket Fisherman that was that, and then she wins. So she wins. The bowling guy, Randy, he notices the bucket of blood on the string.
Okay. How long was that camera scene of following the rope from
ridiculous
the bowling guy to the bucket? Because it literally you see it following the rope, then you see the bucket, then you see the rope more, then you see the bucket again, then you see the rope more. This went back and forth like 5 or 6 times, and it was again more filler. Like it literally could have traced the rope real quick to get right to the bucket. Instead, we're watching the rope from beginning to end to get to the bucket, which is ridiculous.
Yeah. And at the same time, Gingerdead Man's up there. So Randy can see just the bucket, but not the fact. And I didn't even notice this too. I don't think as the audience they showed us, unless you saw it, that he moved the bucket. Did you see him move it?
No, I didn't see that. No, I didn't.
Yeah. Because I would think that would change everything too. And I know you can move it and it's still on the same, wherever the string is set up. So you pull on it, it would still pour over. But I'm like, he did it pretty quick.
Okay. He's smaller than the bucket. It's filled with liquid.
He can't lift a bucket.
And you're on a beam. So like the smallest little thing, the bucket will fall. Somehow he's able to move that bucket. Okay, the door, if you jump to the doorknob, maybe you can wiggle and open the door, fine. I mean, if that's how he did it, how are you moving a bucket that's bigger than you, dragging it across? That's impossible. So, yeah.
And he has no toes for balance. So he has like these two, but
he has these like Frankenstein feet that, he could basically just,
But you can't curve. If you like move a little bit off, you can't like move everything and move your toes to grab it. But the fact that he can lift things in this movie, and especially this feat that he does, but the bucket lands on the blonde. And I love at this point, I guess Trixie hates the Randy because she's you're going to ruin Cherry's big moment.
How did the gingerbread know that she's going to be right there?
I don't know.
And how did he know that she wasn't going to win?
Oh, well, everybody saw the tally. They did it on the table in front of everyone. Like we saw it right away because
he was in the closet. He wasn't around there. He was doing his own thing. He wasn't around when they were doing the telly. Okay,
that would have been, or maybe he just hated her anyway. Somehow he knew. Maybe they had to cut that scene out to make sure it landed at 69 minutes. Maybe he was peeping on the peeping Tom girl. Remember when the peeping Tom girl? Not the peeping Tom girl, the tomboy girl.
No, I know
when she goes to the guy and all the girls are like oohing and eyeing over him. Would you didn't even talk about him too much? He was like, oh my God, look at a figure skater. Like that.
Yeah,
what
a
he
tool.
wore.
I know.
But she does like the whisper of shh, and he's like, and that is why they went. Because what are you going to do? Is there a pig farm open this late? That was her line. It's like 10, 11 at night. I don't think they're open. And I don't think they just have blood ready. It's not like you knock on the door and be like, hey, I'm sorry to bother you this really late hour. It's not like you need like a pig or something.
Is that a normal thing? Is that a normal thing to have blood at a farm?
My God, I don't know what people would use it for. I don't know.
No, I don't know, but I mean, like obviously that's what they use for Carrie. Like I don't remember Carrie. Did they kill a pig to get the blood, or they just picked it? I don't know where they got the blood from. But like, do farms hold on to the blood for help the crops grow or something? I don't know. Like
I don't know. They just get. Oh, you know what? That pig's blood. I keep it for no reason at all. And I was thinking about throwing it out today. Look at you, you great kids showed up just in time. But the fact that it lands on her and he moved it, and dude, another great line. And then when he jumps down with, I guess that's the cleaver, right?
Yes.
That he uses the splitter in half, and he uses the line, "I bicentennial bitch." And then he has a gun. Like the gun part is the craziest to me.
Where did he hold the gun?
Exactly. Well, yeah. Where was it on his body? Is he just reached down and it was
That's
there.
What I'm saying. He's got. He wears no clothes, so he can't even hide it. So where's he holding the cleaver, which looked like it was bigger than him? He's got this gun. I mean, it's so ridiculous. Like, yeah. Okay.
But the gun was so funny. Again, I thought it'd be even funnier if it was a hand, a man hand, and just because that's like you're laughing at yourself, almost like with Damon Wayans, Head Detective, like the silliness of that idea. But it would have been really funny to have. But the gun out of nowhere, just shooting everyone, and like you mentioned, like right in the beginning, again, kind of like most Friday the 13th movies. Is like the people that brought him back, especially in like Jason Lives, bringing back Jason kills all these people. You're kind of responsible. In this movie, Carrie is responsible. She starts using her power.
Yeah, dude, yes.
Oh,
wildly, and she kills everybody because of the one wire that. So, like, literally, I mean, if you take the number of people that Gingerdead kills, 3 in the car wash, 3. He likes to do it in threes. 3 in the car wash, 3 in the closet. The
bathroom guy,
the bathroom guy, 7. Okay,
the girl on stage, and then he starts killing a bunch. So like,
he does, but she kills the entire skating crew with that wire. That's
unbelievable. It was like she never tested her powers. Like at least in Ghostbusters, they like practiced a little bit.
Okay,
that's some idea. She went from knocking over a plant, maybe knocking over turning a light off, to this.
See, that makes no sense also, because if you know that you have this power, and clearly she's had it for her whole life, the minute you realize that you can do something, you start practicing right away. You're like, oh, can I move this? 100%. Can I do that? Like, you're not going to try to run away from it and let it happen by accident all the time. Like, you're going to be so curious what you can do with it or how you can do it. So the fact that she's, in her 20s and still has no control of it is ridiculous.
Yeah, no, my God. Yeah, she was not ready. The fact that I had to rewind it multiple times because I was like, did I miss something? Like, she's not the one that caused everyone to be electrocuted.
Oh,
right?
she is.
And then how about the fact that there's people getting electrocuted, but then there's people not realizing everyone's electrocuted and having conversation like the one that said,
I said the same thing. No, they realize it because they're watching. Because there was one line, but these two of them, I forget what he said, like something like "crazy night" or something like that. And then they died. But like, this complete chaos going on right now. and the people on the outside, like that are just sitting down at the tables, are just acting like part of the show.
Yeah, like, oh yeah, what's that new shade of lipstick you had on? It's shocking pink. Do you want to try it? And then
My gosh,
I guess that was a metal container because it electrocuted both of them.
ridiculous.
Yeah. And there was another one. I forgot there was another one with the 2 lines. It was the tomboy girl talking to somebody, like very casually, and then they're holding onto the roller rink edge, and that gets electrocuted. But man, what is insane?
Yeah.
So the Cherry has all these kills. She like murdered most of everyone in this movie. So now the annoying kids that we glossed over earlier, they're the ones that picked up the time machine remote.
And able to figure it out pretty easy.
Yeah.
But not only are they able, like, I guess I could see that someone pushes the wrong buttons and goes somewhere by accident, but they learned pretty well how to use it because they used it to go throughout time at different, years and decades to get, pull a Bill and Ted's, move, and like, so ridiculous. Yeah.
Here's $1 million question. Now, did those kids ever see Gingerdead Man? They grabbed that pretty quick and left. So why would they start recruiting some of the most obviously terrible people in our history? But why would they start doing that if there was no reason to? They didn't know about him. I don't think they saw him. He didn't kill anybody yet when they left.
First of all, this is the 76, right? So these kids are pretty young. When was Dahmer?
Dude, Dahmer, you're right. You just found the plot. You just found
Dahmer was like the 80s, right? Or
he was. So what do they do? Go in the future and be like, hey, it's 1988. Who's the biggest scumbag?
Yeah. I mean, because they had who they have? They had Dahmer, they had Hitler, and
Dahmer, Hitler, Manson. Who Manson didn't kill anybody, like on record that anybody knows about.
Yeah,
which is crazy. Lizzie Bourdain, she obviously killed a bunch of people.
That was 70s.
And
I think that was 70s.
Who was the other one?
That's it. The 4. I think they had 4 of them, right?
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, there's just 4. But yeah, so you go into the future, and they're like, hey, we're looking for a guy that eats people. There's a guy like that? And then, Dahmer's definitely, maybe he could have, like, started then, but when he got busted and stuff, that was the 80s, so nobody would know about him. Like, Manson, people know about in 76 already, because all that stuff happened in the late 60s.
1991 is when he got busted.
That's
July 1991.
He was eating for a while.
He was, but I mean, still. So, like, I mean, like he shouldn't have been on that list, right? There's older, So, yeah, I mean, and what's funny? Hitler, his mustache didn't look like a Hitler mustache. It was like a big.
I don't remember ever seeing photos of Hitler giving speeches in very baggy clothes.
I mean, again, I don't know if they were afraid to do it, but like he literally had like a bushy mustache. He had a Tom Selleck mustache. He didn't have a Hitler mustache. But yeah, they went there. So
again, I don't know how many people he killed. Am I really that scared of him, like by himself?
But why'd you need them? Because all they did was put him in a cookie jar. You wasted all your time when maybe if you just came back earlier, you could have saved all these people, which again they do anyway. But like that, you needed those 4 people to take care of a gingerbread.
Yeah,
one gingerbread man.
Silly. I wrote they should have got whoever the best competitive eaters were at the time, or throughout history.
I would say that, or like chefs, like get Gordon Ramsay or something. Like get someone like like a famous chef that would take care of him.
Or just a fat guy, a ginormous. How about the fat guy? The fat guy from Toxic Avenger, lard ass. Yeah. Bring in lard ass.
Bring in 4 fat guys.
Big cup.
Yeah. I think that's funnier. Yeah.
That's something.
But to kill him by putting him in a cookie jar was kind of dumb. Like
and the fact that when they put him into it, was that a special cookie jar? Because when they put him into it, it was like a genie lamp. There was like almost like this blue color that came from it.
Yeah.
So there was something special about that.
So dumb.
And the kids, how dumb are they? They have the ability to do a time it because I love that they saved the day, but Trixie's kind of pissed off. If you were only here sooner, And then everybody will be back, because that's funny. At this point, we saw the people get electrocuted, but we didn't get one shot of them all dead yet. All of them laying down. And then she's like, "You're gonna save all these people," and they're all laying there. She's like, "But Trixie, I have a time machine, and we already this is the dumbest part, because she's like, we already went back already." I always hate that in time. Like,
I know.
I think we've gotten in trouble with.
So,
I remember there was a guy in England that didn't like our time machine theories, but it's so dumb that they say that, and then everybody starts waking up.
But they were gone when all this massacre happened. So how would they know to go back in time before the massacre happened?
Oh, well, she just said that. No, you're right. Yeah, that's
Like,
what makes
she
no
said,
sense.
"I already went back," but they were gone, so they had no clue that this was happening.
Yeah. Again, the same thing that I think is so dumb about, because then it could be like, oh, well, an hour after this, they went back in time and did it, and then they went back to the time when they're telling Trixie.
Well, see, but this is where the huge. So even if they did go back, that means then the gingerbread is not inside the jar.
That is true.
So
That
if
is
you're going
true.
back, so they should open up the jar and he's gone. You know, like, so, like, yeah, they you know what? I feel like they basically skipped every single rule of time travel and just decided, let's just do time travel, and, you know, I don't care what the rules are, we're gonna do our own thing. Because
Yeah, it would have made
Trixie-
sense if that happened in another room. Now that works.
right,
If they went into another room, then
Correct.
all of
And-
that
and
they could have been said, and he
Correct.
could still be in the jar and all that
Correct.
stuff. But no.
Right. Now, here's also, so they open up the portal to send everybody back to where they were, but they're all going to the same portal.
Maybe there's different exits.
And Trixie jumps in there too to go back to 1940 or whatever.
She's really going to alter
so-
history too. So she's
No, but-
going to go
okay.
back.
Correct. But even if she does, they're going to the same portal. It's not like you just say where you want to go and you just go. I don't think that's how time travel works. It's like if you open the portal, everybody's going to be going to the exact same time. It's not going to be random.
Yeah, I don't know if you go through it. It's like, okay, you have to pay attention like you're on a train. Next stop,
Next stop,
1941.
19.
Till hour. I don't know if it works like that either. But how about when they jumped into the portal? Did you notice like some of the sounds? Like you had the German voice. Dahmer said "cowabunga."
Yeah, they each had one line. It's so stupid. So stupid.
Hitler was like nine, or just like the normal like German sounds. But the kids, so the kids are like, because Trixie's like, oh, I'm gonna miss this place. Oh, you kids, and the kid goes, well, we also went because we have a time machine. We went to tomorrow and we had the winning lottery numbers, and now you're gonna be a millionaire. It's like, okay. So think about this. Oh my God, I just thought about it. So if the ticket's got to be cashed tomorrow, I guess it doesn't matter who cashed it. In my head, I'm like, it had her name on it or something, but no.
But they bought the lotto ticket to save. Oh, I guess, or they knew they were losing the thing. So okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. But yeah, so then they have the lottery ticket. Trixie leaves, so now it's Cherry's roller disco. I would just hope they don't charge anybody, because $1 million for a place like that, it could probably be open for the rest of its life. Easy.
Yeah.
And still have like $500,000 left over.
So funny.
The Coke DJ's back, and I'm like, do people remember that they died? Like, is there a point that they were like, oh, I died?
Okay, let's be honest. They're all on drugs. They probably felt they died multiple times. Like so I mean, I don't think their memory was going to be remembering anything after that night.
Yeah, it's true. So
Okay.
yeah, so that was Gingerdead Man 3. Obviously, you heard less groans than I thought. I don't know. Like, would you?
No.
No.
It's absolutely not. It's not a good movie. I mean, it really isn't. I was hoping for it to be like I said, hoping to be like, the tomato movie, Attack of the Killer Tomatoes kind of comedy, and it wasn't. Like, I think they missed a lot of chances to make it a spoofy movie, and it would have been better. Instead, and again, maybe more gingerbread, but he literally is in the movie for a fraction of the length of the movie. It's mostly, I would love to see how long actual skating in the whole movie is compared to the 69 minutes. So I'm going to say no. And this is getting rough, man. We always review tough movies. I don't think we've ever had a stretch like this. Like, this is like there hasn't been a good movie in a while. This has been a rough stretch.
Well, I think it's going to change, but let me just say a little. So I wouldn't recommend somebody watch this movie, but it had some redeeming qualities. Like I thought his lines, again, like you said, not enough. It should be more spoofy. But I had to ask you this one question. It's not even close, right? Jack Frost is better than this, right?
Way better.
Which
Way
is
better.
Crazy, right?
I know. And again, I mean, Jack Frost is not a good movie either, but
Yeah.
I think it's this movie is just like, again, when you see just from the beginning, when you see the baguette puppet that looked like a Muppet, literally looked like it could have been on the Muppets background of a Gonzo skit. You know, like that's what they look like. And it just, I just think, one, there's no plot to the movie. Two, there's barely any gingerbread. And three, it's literally all disco music and skating. Like that's all it is. And it just, it doesn't fit. Like it was just too much filler for what it should have been. So yeah, I'm going to say Jack Frost absolutely is better. Now, the last few movies, this is probably above, because I think like 2 of the last 5 movies were in my bottom 5
Scanners
of all time.
too, yeah.
But yeah, this is bad. So I'm hoping we start going uphill.
Well, I think next is going to be better. And I think this sequel, from what I remember, I haven't seen it in a long time. It was one of those movies I caught on like HBO or Cinemax or Showtime as a kid. But I remember it being real fun, like the original. And I think this movie might have the greatest sequel title ever, like pun title, House 2, the second story. And
you saw
for it,
you saw it
when I was a kid. I don't remember much of it, but
I never saw the
just
second
looking
one.
at the trailer before I talked with next week's guest, one of the greatest guys, Don Diers, tech director. We learn about what that is versus other jobs when it comes to being on set. Art director, art department. He was so awesome. He sent me, if you're watching this on video, he sent me an actual petty cash envelope from 20th Century Fox, just so rad. And inside of it was the hat from the pizzeria in Tenacious D, Pick of Destiny. So yeah, Wake and Bake Pizzeria, which is so rad that he did that. But Don was great, man. He's so cool because he interweaves with another guest of this year and other people that we've interviewed in the past. But one was Lee Arenberg, like his crew. He was at UCLA at the same time, just not in the same department. Like he did improv, but they have mutual friends, so they would run into each other along the years. He knew Kyle Gass, so it's like, and Tim Robbins. So it's like all these movies that he works on that we talk about during the interview. He sees these people again after X amount of time. Like you saw Jack Black and Kyle Gass, doing that movie. That was probably like almost 20 years after they met in college. And then one of his early movies he worked on was working on a Tim Robbins movie. So there's all these different parallels. And talking about credits, man, this guy has done so many cool things. We talked about, God, man, Biodome, Phone Booth. His credits are so amazing. Santa Claus 3. But one thing I wanted to mention I thought was really cool for you, Jamie, is a sequel that we're going to be covering. We always want something from that movie. So Don keeps a lot of special things in his basement, things from sets. He also keeps things that he can use for other movies that he's want to leave it like the rental house, and he bought them. But he has the chairs from House 2 because he watched the movie before we did it. He has the chairs in his basement.
That's
from
awesome.
The dining room in the house. Yeah, Don's up there. He's going to be on one of the best ones you'll ever hear. But yeah, so don't forget to review, rate, share our podcast. Follow us on all social media at Sequels Only. And don't forget to check out our website, sequelsonly.com. Good night.
Good night.